Hello again, trusty tubers, tubettes, and whatever other kind of tube you might identify with. Megan here with another awesome episode of Recovery Crafting. Today it is a gorgeous spring-like day at the end of February in my neck of the woods, and I have decided today to use this awesome energy and take my cue direct from nature. And I wanted to show you guys some tools that I've picked up recently that I haven't touched yet. I haven't opened them, so we're going to talk about new beginnings, both in nature and in the seasons, and we'll take our inspiration from that and talk about some new beginnings of some new crafts. So hang right in there. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody again who has been leaving me comments and liking and subscribing to my channel and sticking with me and giving me giving me the I don't know, the energy and the inspiration to keep going on this. I'm glad that there are people out there that are enjoying it, and I hope that that just continues to grow. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. So first things first, when we talk about crafting and starting new crafts, I know a lot of times the first thing that you start to think about when you want to get into a new craft is, well, you got to get supplies. Okay. What I want to suggest as a crafter and somebody who has been doing this for a long time is try to think outside the box on where you might look for your crafting supplies. It's never a bad idea to go online and do some research before you actually go and just immediately jump into like Michael's or Joann's. Now, I love those places, Hobby Lobby, all of that. I do like shopping at those locations because they are so specifically craft and art related that you can find pretty much anything you're looking for. But there are other places that you can go to find tools that, you know, might jumpstart a new craft or hobby for you that you might not have thought about. So these tools that I'm going to show you today, I actually picked up from my local big box hardware store. So again, I'm not, why am I having such a problem with words today? I'm not affiliated with any of these stores or anything like that, but I just wanted to keep your minds open to go online and do some research. There might be places out there that you weren't thinking about that you might be able to find some supplies cheaper, or that in a location that might be closer to you, so you don't have to go so far out of your way to try to find the supplies you think you need. So one of the things that I had bought, and I actually bought this a while ago, still haven't opened it, which is unfortunate. I've actually started a couple of projects, but haven't gotten to the point of actually using this tool. So this product right here is a wood burning kit. What do they call it? A wood burning, 15-piece wood burning and hobby iron kit. Now, I have learned from watching other crafters and other artisans that they'll use this for leather, burning on leather, and there's other materials that you can use these on too. So it's kind of a roundabout tool. But this thing, I picked this up and I think it was about $20. And now you can find these at your local craft store as well. If you have a coupon or something, you might be able to get it at a better price. But this was actually way better price than I had found it at those big craft stores. And again, found it at my local big box hardware store. It comes with 15 tips. I had watched some videos, and what I did is I actually have some wooden shelves. They're like crate kind of shelves. And what you do is you take transfer. We'll do a whole video on this because I want to experiment with this with you guys so that you see me trying out these new crafts. But today I just wanted to go over some of the tools. But what you do is you take transfer paper, like carbon copy paper, which I picked up at a local office supply store. And then you get your design, or you print a pattern from online, or whatever design it is that you want, whether you sketch it out yourself or whether you print it. And then you put the carbon paper down on the wood, and then you put the pattern on top of that, and you use a pen or a pencil, whatever, to trace over those lines, and it transfers the pattern to the wood, and then you go back over it with this. Now, actually, what I'm thinking about doing, I do think I've mentioned before that I have a wedding coming up in October. I am getting married. And for my wedding guest book, what I'm thinking about doing is using, since it's in the fall, I want to use one of the wooden crates and use that as one of the raw unfinished wooden crates, which you can also find at your local craft store or at your local big box hardware store, by the way. And I want to use that as my guest book, have my guests sign it with Sharpies and markers, and then go back over it with the wood burning tool and burn all of them in there so that I have this permanent but useful piece of decoration that I can use around the house, store things in, but that's also a really great memory to have. So that's, I do need to start working with this to get better at it. So we will definitely be opening this up. Let me see. It comes in this awesome carrying case. And you can see you've got the wood burning tool, and then you have all of these different tips. It tells you on the box what the different tips are. And then you can see like some X-Acto blades, but once they're hooked up to this machine, they actually turn into like hot blades, which again, multitude of different purposes that you can use them for. So again, a new beginning, a new craft, and a new hobby for me. This is something, since you can see the reflection of my camera there, this is something that I can't wait to experiment together with you guys on. So yeah, we've got that coming up. Then, okay, good enough. Now another thing, and this stemmed from my jewelry crafting, but again, there are all sorts of different utilizations for this. It's a soldering iron, same brand, same company as the wood burning tool, which I didn't even realize until I was pulling this all out. And I haven't touched a soldering iron since I was in metal shop in high school, actually. So I just happened to see this as I was wandering the aisles, and I was like, hey, I can use that for my crafting. So we're going to kind of experiment with this too. I, again, will be using it more for my jewelry purposes than anything else, because that's the main line that I focus on. But I am interested to kind of dig around and see what other things people use a soldering iron for. I'm actually kind of intrigued to see if anybody's come up with any other reasons to use this. So, as you can see, we've got the soldering iron tool here. It does come with a stand, which is inside of here. It comes with a couple of different tips. And it comes with soldering aid and lead-free solder. So that's really cool. And I think I paid, it was less than $20 for this tool, which, I mean, I'm sure it's not meant for, high-powered commercial use, but for whatever I might want to do with it at home, that's a really great value. And this can lead to all sorts of different avenues for me in my jewelry business too. So what an awesome tool that I just happened to wander upon in my local big box hardware store. This is a tool that I have used before. And if you watched last week's episode when I did the bandana shoulder bag, I hope everybody liked that. Leave me comments. And if you haven't watched it, please go back and check it out. And I'm also appreciating this because I continuously talked about how I shop so much at the dollar store that I just wanted to give you guys, let you know that I do shop other places, believe it or not. It might not seem like it, but I promise I do. So this tool is an eyelet tool. Again, picked up at the same place as the other tools. It comes with the tool itself and several different colors of eyelets in here. I've used these tools before. I used to have one actually that it was tiny, and it had like it was a circular disc with a metal plate on the inside of it. And it was plastic with the metal plate. And then it had this dual tip, I it was about this long, and it had 2 different metal tips on either side. And you basically set your eyelet down and then on the base, and then you put that other tool on top of it, and you'd sit there with the hammer and snap it down. And I tore the crap out of that thing. I think I got that at Walmart years and years ago. But it's nice to have, like, when I saw this, I was like, oh, there's a tool for that. And I mean, I'm sure this only will probably do a certain size. Yeah, this is for a 4mm or 5/32. But again, if you watch that episode where I did the shoulder bag, this is another creative idea of a way to embellish that bag. Or if you wanted to do something different for a handle, you could use this and put the eyelets in that top hem part to make your handle more secure. If you wanted to use cording of some kind, or rope or hemp rope or something like that different for the shoulder strap, or even just to embellish it and maybe put some eyelets in it if you wanted to put a liner inside. I mean, again, I wouldn't go putting your change in there, because even with the way that we constructed the bag, stuff might roll out. There are holes in the edge. But other than that, I mean, this can be used for decoration of all kind. It says, for setting small eyelets in leather, plastic, rubber, canvas, and cardboard. So my fiance is actually into leather crafting, and so when I saw this, now he's got a whole lot of other tools that do this same thing. But I thought that it was a great compact tool to add to my arsenal. And it was something that he could use as well, so it was kind of double duty. And maybe I'll sneak into his leather and, start taking some scraps and maybe playing around with some of those too, especially with that wood burning kit that we have. So I would definitely like to try it on leather. I've seen it, and it just seems like it works so well on leather, and I'm super excited to try that out. So I just wanted to, this is a quick video. I want to go outside and enjoy some of this really awesome, gorgeous weather. But I just wanted to touch upon the idea of new beginnings and the concept of thinking outside of the box when you're willing to get into new crafts. If you're a crafty person in general, or if you're an artistic person, and then sometimes this stuff comes naturally, but I do understand that it doesn't necessarily come naturally to everybody. And you might walk by things all day, every day, and not realize the potential of normal tools. For jewelry crafting, I mean, yes, there are specific jeweler's pliers, but I have picked up pliers from the local hardware store that I use. And as a matter of fact, I'll get my big butt out of the frame. This wire, this is raw copper wire, and it comes in spools. It is super inexpensive. I use this for jewelry all the time. It naturally patinas on its own, which I think is I think it's extremely pretty when copper patinas. Some people don't like that. You are more than welcome to seal it, or you can buy coated enameled copper or sealed copper. I love the way that natural metals oxidize. I think it just adds a whole different element to the pieces that you're working on, and it leaves them natural and lets them morph into kind of what they're supposed to be. I mean, that's how nature intended things to work. So that's just my personal preference. But again, local big box hardware store that I get this. It's 25 feet of raw copper. Now they have it in different gauges and different different lengths of material. They also have some stainless steel wire and stuff like that. This is all in the picture hanging section, by the way. And I think I spend less than $4 for this, and I use it a lot. So it's extremely inexpensive. So when you're wandering around, try to keep your mind open to thinking outside the box of where you might pick up your supplies. There was an antique store that was down the street from me that was selling bags of chandelier glass. Now, they were pricey because it was an antique store. The place itself was pricey. They have since changed over what their business plan is. And they've pretty much gotten rid of a lot of their antique stuff, and they've turned into mainly a smoke shop now. And they do still keep a couple of things up front, but it's not like it used to be, and I loved the way that it was before, because I could go in there and dig through old tools, which I've picked up on for doing some of my my Viking knit pieces. You know, there was all sorts of, you know, wood for wood burning, and they had all of these amazing things that you could look at, and from a person who's an artist, who has an artistic background or is crafty, you get lots of ideas wandering through stores like that. So the chandelier glass that I got, while it was pricey, I was getting a decent sized bag of it, and it was antique chandelier glass that I'm able to use in jewelry, and it adds a whole different element to some of the pieces that I'm working on. So there are elements and tools and accessories, and all of these things are out there in places that you might not be thinking to look. So always keep your eyes open if you're into a craft or if you're into a hobby. Keep your mind open to thinking outside of the box. I know I keep repeating that, but that's with the idea of spring and new beginnings and maybe wanting to try new hobbies. You might actually find yourself seeing something that, you know, just wandering through the store, you weren't even thinking about starting a new craft, let's say. But if you happen to see something and you can afford it at the time, because I understand that not everybody can, picking up a new hobby and craft can be expensive, which is why I try really hard to keep some of my stuff inexpensive so that I can just get your wheels turning. And pick something up. Even if it's just, you know, when I started doing my chainmail again, I was picking up wire from the dollar store, and I was using pliers that I had had since I was in college, and they are my mom's old pliers, and they are rusty, and the springs don't work on them anymore. But they were tried and trusty tools for me. So when I jumped back into this, I spent $10 on dollar store wire and started just relearning basic chainmail weaves, and it took off. You don't have to invest hundreds and hundreds of dollars into a new craft or a new hobby in the beginning. You just need a spark of inspiration and a little willingness to start. So I hope this has been an inspirational video. Like I said, it is kind of short. My aunt gave me an idea last night for a video to do on a different craft, and that's actually something that I want to be releasing. It'll probably take me a couple of different episodes to get through. I'm thinking at least 2, but I want to get that out for St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up. So I decided to kind of change routes a little bit of where I was going to go today. But again, nature helped. And I love you all, and I'm really glad that you are here with me, and I can't wait to try out some of these new tools with you as the spring and summer start, because I'm kind of thinking that maybe wood burning I should do outside. I don't know. I don't want anybody else in the apartment building that I live in thinking that the house is on fire. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I might do it in the basement. We'll play around with it. Anyway, so I'm going to stop rambling because I do that a lot. And I just want to say that I love you all, and I hope you're enjoying today's weather. If you're in my neck of the woods, if you're able to get out and absorb some of that vitamin D, and I mean, if you live in a place that has winter and we've been hibernating, then it's really a great day to get outside. And just enjoy nature, feel the start of spring and new things coming. And I love you all. I'll say it again. Please subscribe, like, share, hit all the buttons, do all the things. And I will see you all next week. Thank you so, so much. Have a great weekend.